Who is this?
The Boogeyman.
This place is so creepy at night. It's like the Bermuda Triangle.
They say there's no escape if it comes for you. You'll be alright, I'll be right back.
No, you won't, don't say that!
Critics called Revenge of the Boogeyman flawless, but missed the clue that ruins everything. Hit play before Hollywood deletes this video. The film begins with a man waking up, startled by a strange noise. Curious and scared, he steps outside to investigate. Suddenly, a terrifying creature appears in the distance and hurls a knife at him. The impact is brutal. His head is severed from his body. This is our introduction to the creature known as the Boogeyman. The scene shifts to a man named Eric, who hasn't spent time with his family in a long while because he is absorbed in a new project. His wife complains that he doesn't give them enough attention. Eric promises that once his project succeeds, they will go on a beach vacation together. Their young son also hands Eric a drawing, which depicts a man standing in front of a hut with a strange monster behind him. When Eric asks about the creature, his son says it's the Boogie who eats people. Shocked, Eric asks who told him such stories. The boy replies that Eric did it himself. Eric dismisses it and leaves. Is revealed that Eric isn't going to work late at the office, but is instead heading to a cabin in the forest with a female friend. The cabin looks eerie, and even his friend remarks on how unsettling it feels. Eric insists that it's the safest place he could find and says they only need to stay there for 2 days. Later, while sitting on the sofa, Eric finds his son's drawing in his pocket. Strangely, the cabin in the drawing looks identical to the one they are in. He brushes it off and discards the drawing. That evening, Eric's friend grows increasingly uneasy, saying the cabin feels even scarier at night. She explains it reminds her of nightmares she had as a child, where she was trapped in a similar cabin. She goes downstairs and hears footsteps. Outside, the Boogeyman lurks, searching for new victims. Drawn by a glowing green light, she wanders into the forest in a trance. When she realizes something is wrong and tries to turn back, she feels an invisible force pulling her deeper in. The Boogeyman suddenly appears behind her. Terrified, she stumbles, and before she can react, he slashes her throat, decapitating her just as he did the man earlier. Meanwhile, Eric, unaware of her fate, is resting in the cabin. Suddenly, the Boogeyman silently enters his room. The scene cuts, and the next morning, Eric's other friend arrive. Among them is Calvin, who is struggling with rehab and dislikes the isolated environment, as it makes him crave drugs even more. Tim and his wife, however, enjoy the place. Calvin becomes irritated that Eric hasn't greeted them and vents his frustration. Inside, they find a wine glass left untouched from the night before. Calvin feels tempted to drink it, but before he can, they hear a scream upstairs. Rushing to investigate, they find Tim's wife shaken after discovering Eric in a horrific state, as if dead. The group grows angry with Eric for choosing such a strange cabin, failing to provide enough supplies, and showing little interest in them. Tensions rise, and Eric eventually leaves them without taking the friend he came with. Calvin, stressed and craving substances, starts searching the cabin for alcohol. He finds a beer can and drinks it, unaware that the Boogeyman is watching him. Later, he spies on Tim's wife through a window, only to notice the Boogeyman's shadow behind her. Tim catches him lurking, and Calvin awkwardly excuses himself. The evening progresses. The group plays poker, but Calvin becomes restless and craves stronger substances. Searching Eric's belongings, he only finds cigarettes. He lies about smoking them, but the group grows suspicious of his behavior. To distract them, Calvin brings up local legends about the forest and the Boogeyman. This frightens Tim's wife, who urges them to leave. Calvin grows more isolated, feeling ignored and lonely. That night, desperate for a high, Calvin consumes mouthwash and strange pills he finds in the cabin, hoping they will intoxicate him. Meanwhile, Eric, driving through the forest, is caught in the same green light that entranced his friend. Hypnotized, he is dragged into the forest where the Boogeyman attacks and eats his flesh, Back at the cabin, Calvin becomes violently ill from the substances he consumed. He knocks on Tim's door, expecting help, but instead is scolded for disturbing them. Feeling abandoned, Calvin later confides in his friend, admitting that he is unhappy with life and struggling with problems. His friend encourages him to take responsibility for himself rather than expecting others to fix his life. This comforts Calvin temporarily. That morning, tensions flare again when Tim's wife discovers the mouthwash is gone and blames Calvin. Instead of admitting the truth, Calvin lashes out and storms into the forest, where he encounters campers. He hears disturbing noises and insists people are being murdered, but they dismiss it as either animal sounds or hallucinations caused by his mental state. They give him a cigarette to calm him. Later, Tim finds Calvin and joins him in the woods. While playing a game, Calvin grows jealous of Tim's closeness with his wife. Enraged, he leaves and hallucinates during dinner, seeing the couple devouring raw meat. Realizing it's just a delusion, he grows more unstable. That night, Calvin dreams of the boogeyman killing everyone, only to wake up to disturbing noises. In desperation, he drinks drain cleaner and washes it down with beer, worsening his condition. Disturbed, he sends a heartfelt message to his grandmother, confessing his love for her. He then sends a voicemail to Eric, apologizing for his past behavior. But when he stumbles upon Eric's car in the forest, he finds Eric's corpse being devoured by the boogeyman. Horrified, Calvin flees back to the cabin and warns Tim and his wife, begging them to escape. They dismiss his warnings, believing he is hallucinating again. Calvin insists he's telling the truth and admits to drinking poison, but swears he is sober now after witnessing Eric's body. Still, they don't believe him. Tim goes outside to investigate despite Calvin's desperate pleas. Drawn into the forest by the green light, Tim falls victim to the boogeyman. His mutilated body collapses before Calvin, who runs back to warn Tim's wife. Terrified, Calvin arms himself with a saucepan and insists they wear them as helmets to block the boogeyman's powers. Tim's wife, panicked and frustrated, storms off, only to fall prey to the creature. Calvin, spiraling into madness, believes he might be turning into the boogeyman himself. In the cabin, the boogeyman appears and speaks to him, thanking Calvin for helping him with the killings. Calvin denies it, but eventually both laugh maniacally, as though Calvin has embraced his transformation. Post-credit scene. Another group of friends arrives at the same cabin. As one of them unpacks supplies in the kitchen, the boogeyman strikes again, stabbing her in the stomach. The others remain oblivious. In the final twist, we see Calvin hiding in the cabin, now dressed like the boogeyman, revealing that he has truly become the creature's partner. The film ends here. The hidden clue is Calvin's transformation. Throughout the movie, the boogeyman kills without hesitation. Yet when Calvin runs from him after seeing Eric's corpse, the creature doesn't chase him. Instead, it lets him go. That detail is easy to miss, but it's the key. The boogeyman wasn't just hunting Calvin, it was grooming him. By the end, Calvin isn't just a survivor. He becomes the boogeyman's partner, proving the entire story was never about escaping the monster, but about creating a new one. Was revenge of the boogeyman right, or just a monster? Debate below. And if you want more ruthless breakdowns, subscribe. We're just getting started. You'll see what we mean in our next movie recap.